Now, if I could just get them to go into the coop. We're working on it. Hey, y'all ready to go in? One's falling asleep over there. There we go. Hopefully. Uh-oh. Sometimes a little holler does us good. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So we're at our next stage, and all I'm going to be doing... Hi, everybody. Hi. Hi. All I'm going to be doing is opening this door up, teaching them to come on out. Plus, first starting this, I have to get them out and put them in. So now I need them to start coming out, and there's our first one, and they'll teach to others. And if they want to come out, they'll come out. Hi. Now, they're being independent. I'm not with them as much. They're going to start getting a little bit wilder, and that's fine. I just let nature take its course. And I got to fix this door. Screws came out of it. Before I had this stapled down, so when it was smaller, they can look out, get air, and then begin with trying to get them to come out. They wanted to come through that way, and so today we're just going to leave that like that because they wanted to jump down, but that's not going to teach them to come down the right door, which eventually be just a clean out door, I'm hoping. So we're just going to let them sit there and figure it out. They don't want to come through there. Uh-oh. So maybe I need to shut that door off. I don't want them to get caught in there. So let's not confuse them. Just watching them. Definitely got to get a screw in this door. I just didn't do it like it probably should have been. We'll get it fixed. Shut them off, and there they come. Some of them. Now that last one coming out is Betsy's. There's 3 of them. They hang out with the ones that was sent by NJ Breast Farms. They're getting big. They'll figure it out. They're stretching their wings. Here's Nuisance. She's so funny sometimes. She's always into something. We got a hen back there sitting on, I think, 3 eggs. I'm hoping. I've got to check, make sure she don't have no more than 3. And you look at her, she is like, don't come near me. She's sitting on 3 eggs. I don't like keeping them into the coop because usually before the hens start getting really aggravated and I would say grouchier, and then sometimes the eggs get crushed and everything. But I have another hen that's sitting on eggs into the brooder, and she keeps moving those eggs. I keep saying this, I'm just going to have to get a candler and start candling the eggs. I've never had to do it. Usually nature takes care of itself, but they're first time mamas, and sometimes first time mamas, it takes them a little bit to get a hold of things. Some of them just take a hold of it and do good, and the others, they got to learn it. The fence is working very well. Still gonna customize some things. We're still using the solar. Moved the composter. Didn't put as many poles this time. I wanted to put more poles, but that things get pretty expensive when you're going all the way around the coop. So we're just gonna go with this. We're gonna redo some things. Put some more wire up there. I just wanted to get this fence up right here around this coop. I took down the old fence wire. This time I kept it off of the fence a little bit because knowing these poles will move, the wire will move, and so we've got a Premier 1 gate that's going to go up. So everything is just into the process. It's going to go hopefully right there and give me access, because I've been climbing over right there, and it's kind of getting old when you get caught up into the net. If you ever get caught up in one of these nets, it's hard to get out of, especially if your boot gets caught up into it. So I got this little fence up right here for these guys so they won't be climbing through the fence. It's repurposed. That gets it out of the way from me and helps me out. On this side, you see the chicken wire. Basically, I'm just using whatever I got. Just get it out of the way and using it. But I really like this type of fence. It's easier to put up. It lasts a lot longer. But you see my distance. I got a good distance here. So I probably should have did that on the other fence. But sometimes when you're doing things, you just kind of learn as you're going. These guys, they are so happy. So we'll have to figure out where we're going to put this composter. It works really good. I mean, it really does help with the garden. And I'll put stuff in there usually at the end of summer, and by spring it's broken down. So this was what was into the some of it's what was into the composter. Some of it could be broken down some more because it was, kept putting stuff in there. It breaks down really good. But this year I am just like throwing things into the garden as I usually do, but this year just getting it in here. Yeah, it can make the garden look ugly, but who cares? My focus right now, because we've got so much rain, the nutrients is going to be washed away. It's just to, because you see all the algae is coming. We got more rain at the end of the week. I haven't had to water the garden hardly at all. It's at begin with, yeah, but now it's just like, all this rain, who needs it? So much rain, I believe it's killing some of my okra. I keep having plants die one by one. I thought it may be a cutworm. I dug down in there, and at the base it was rotten. Now this is white velvet okra, and I've never grown it before. This one looks like it might, I don't know, it might come back. The stems are, I noticed are different. Even breaking this off it's like it's tougher. But down there at the base, need a knife. Some of them were just rotted, so I don't know if it was a cutworm. I didn't see any markings, but it was definitely damaged. And this is what I have to deal with every year. So here comes these Japanese beetles, and you definitely got to catch them early in the morning, but they will eat the leaves up. Some fell down. They're hard to catch. And this is where I have to walk consistently. See, that damage is just done overnight. It wasn't here yesterday evening. And I have to really walk out here, unless you're spraying a lot of chemicals. That's really the only way to deal with them. But, this time of year I hate it, because this is the damage they do. And since it's early in the morning, the sun's just coming up, I can get them. But when that sun reaches a certain temperature, then it's hard to, they'll just fly away. Pink eye purple holes are coming on. Look at this. It's aggravating. If I'd known this, I'd probably been out here just a little bit early, because it won't be very long. They will be flying. And I guarantee you they're all over my fruit trees. Just the season we're in our area. So this is where I walk through, having to look, because they'll have all these leaves ate up. Marigolds are doing beautiful. Love growing marigolds. I don't know, they put out peace, and they're good for the plants as far as it's supposed to be detouring insects. The pink eye purple holes came out overnight. You say, well, how are you going to get in there? Very carefully. You can't walk in fear for snakes. You know, I wear my boots and move slowly when you're picking them anyhow. Snakes are trying to get away from us. I hope my tomatoes are doing very well in there. This is a busy time of the year for me. I'm just worried about the stink bugs. They're loaded down with tomatoes, trying to leave them on there. You see the rain starting to produce the disease. Squash put out a beautiful flower. So I got to get out here and finish picking those gold mine beans. Left a lot of them onto the bush yesterday. A lot of beans. But I've got 2 5-gallon buckets. I'm sure I'm going to have another one. And probably because I was so tired. And I had so much of a good harvest that I just picked what I wanted. I don't like waste. God don't like waste. But there's no sense in over picking either. If you can't get them up. Like these right here. And some of them were touching the ground. If they touch the ground, that's what happens. That one right there could be picked. Now the next morning I want to pick them. Looking for the stink bugs, stings. Look at that. So this morning I want to pick them, but you know, when you're gone all day long, you get tired and you're just trying to get it done. Here's the climbing okra. A subscriber sent me the seeds from Virginia. And thank you very much. I've never even seen this before. I think it's so cool. It's so cool to grow things that you've never seen or heard. And I think this is just simply amazing. If you got a small area, I've never tried it. It looks kind of weird. But maybe it's just my growing, you know. I like trying new things. It's simply amazing how you get sent products and people have tried or like or, you know, consider you. And it's really super amazing. We got our cucumbers here. loaded down with blooms. The bees are not hitting them, so they're all onto the squash at this point in time. Bees will go to whatever, I mean, they'll bypass all these blooms and go to what they like, and that's just the way it is. You think, well, I got lots for the bees to eat, and that's true, but bees will bypass it. They'll go and take and go to where, I mean, bypass it. It's like they're right there all over the squash, but they're not over here. You got a little cucumber. And here's the stink bugs. Hi. Hi. You love being out in the garden, don't you? Angel. Angel. It's getting hot out here, isn't it? Angel. Boy. Angel. Angel. You's a sweet boy. You's a sweet boy. You's a good boy. You's a good boy. We almost got another 5-gallon bucket of gold mine string beans. Now, if I picked them like I picked them, if I picked those yesterday like I picked these today, then definitely we would got 3 5-gallon buckets off of these 2 rows. It was definitely time to get them up. The plants will let you know. The beans will get smaller. They'll get less productive, and the insects will let you know. I found out that when the plant is just about, it's at harvest time, the insects know when those plants, or should I say the vegetable, is ready to harvest, because then they want to eat onto it as much as we do. So you have to be very watchful when it comes to these insects, because they like to eat good too. Now, these are gold mine beans. Now, we have headed into June, so we'll see how well they do. How I plant my gold mine beans, which I believe I made a video on how I did everything, but this is where the potatoes was at. And so I didn't need to put any fertilizer down. Now, beans don't really, they make their own nitrogen. They put nitrogen into the ground. That's why when you see farmers, they'll plant the field of corn, and then they'll go back in with beans. And that's because the corn takes the nitrogen out of the ground, and the beans puts the nitrogen back into the ground. And that's one of the reasons I planted a lot of beans this year, because my garden is lacking in nitrogen, believe it or not. So I got the pink-eye purple holes on the other side. So we have 4 rows of pink-eye purple holes. And that's going to help put nitrogen back in to the ground. Now, last year on this side, so the peas and the beans put nitrogen back into the ground. And since my garden is lacking in nitrogen, because corn takes nitrogen out of the ground, beans and peas put nitrogen back in the ground. So that's why it doesn't need a whole lot of nitrogen. So into that spot right there, some of it where the pink-eye purple hole peas are at was where the corn was at last year. So maybe I should have gone back in there and planted these peas. That would have been the best thing to do, was gone back in there and where the corn was at and plant peas or beans. Pink-eye purple holes puts out beautiful flowers, because they're making peas right at the moment. Pink-eye purple holes got a very good taste. Now the gold mine beans, all I do is make a row. Like I said, this is where the potatoes was at. So it had a lot of fertilizer still left into the ground. So I definitely didn't need to put any fertilizer in, because beans and peas don't need a whole lot of fertilizer. But I make my heel, and then once I got a heel, I take the end of the hoe and draw a straight line all the way down the row. And then I take my beans or peas And I just space them out about every 4 or 5 inches. Now you see some of them are closer than that. That really hasn't hurt anything. I just drop them and then cover them up about an inch over the top of the seeds. And then, of course, we've had a lot of rain, so I haven't had to water them. The rain has took care of watering these. You do have to watch out for insects when they're at this stage, because insects will really jump on them and devour the leaves, and leaves is what you need to be able to produce the plant, so the plant can get its nutrients. Another thing that I do is that really at this stage right now, they look beautiful. Look, everything's doing good, right? But I have learned to come in here, especially while the rain, and take my little pea rake and shuffle around that dirt and get good air circulation. I just haven't had time to do it, but they're definitely at that stage. And once I do that, they have a tendency just to take off and grow even more, which is what you want to do because you're trying to get ahead of the insects. Sweet potatoes doing pretty good. Didn't need that much this year. Decided not to plant that much. I try to plant to what I need. With the gold mine beans, you know, with the amount that I've gotten so far, I probably won't need to plant any next year. And that's how I grow. I grow to what I need and then try to get it to produce so I don't have to really, you know, grow that plant the next year, because we never know what that plant or what the seasons is going to bring. Now, as you look at all these beans right here, you see all that dirt. Now, I have an outdoor sink, and usually I'll just wash them outside. A water hose connects to it. Actually, it's right there. But I don't have time right at the moment. I picked these gold mine beans yesterday, and I picked the rest of them today. And then I'll just take them, put them in the refrigerator, and put a lid over it. And it preserves them until I can get to them. So I just fill up the sink. All that dirt just falls to the bottom of the sink and the sink base. And then, you know, you're left with the beans. And then I take my hand and, because basically, well, right now on these, I don't see as many blooms to begin with. But basically, after the dirt comes off, then the blooms will be on there. But I take my hand and just, you know, over running water and just keep wiping it. Just take and keep wiping it, and all the dirt, if there's any dirt and leaves or blooms, just come right off. And then I put it on the other side of the sink, and while I'm washing the other ones, it drips, dries, and then I just take them in there and start snapping them. At the same time, when I'm washing them, I break off this end right here. It just snaps off. And so I don't have to go through a second step of sitting down and snapping these off. So I'm washing, I'm getting the blooms off, making sure the dirt's off, anything else off, and then pop that end off. And then they're sitting on the other side, drip drying, and then I'll go sit down and snap them. And then I'll preserve them.